So with Global, we already have a lineup of our next batch of characters. That is right, they are the Midnight Suns. We know that they are going to be releasing, and well, from what we can see, it seems that the 9th is the date that we are getting. We knew that they were going to come out this week, so this kind of just solidifies on when they will be releasing. So if you guys don't know how it's going to be working, Lich and Riot are going to be coming together alongside with VETTO and FANA. So the banners are going to be separated. Obviously, it's not going to be available all in one banner, 2 on each when it comes to the 2 pickup banners themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make each video on the banner specifically. So right now we're going to be looking at FANA and VETTO, then we're going to be looking at Riot and Lich. What I will do is we're going to go through the characters, give you guys my honest opinions about these characters, whether you should summon, and if you still choose to summon, who to go for. Alright, so we are going to be starting with this video with VETTO and FANA. One other thing to mention, which I was not aware of, you can actually, so this is pretty cool, I'll be honest, this is something unique too. So let's say you summon on the VETTO and FANA banner, if you pull VETTO dupes, you can actually exchange it to get FANA dupes. That is crazy good, because of course they're going to be both on the same banner. So let's say you're summoning and you want FANA and you want her dupes and you manage to pull VETTO. It's just like, god damn it, I wish that was a FANA dupe. Oh wait, yeah, you can make it a FANA dupe. This is I would love this on JPNKR. W for global, W for global. And yeah, look at that, the rates. Hey yo, damn freaking good. Can't complain. 1% each. Thumbs up in my books, boys. So that is amazing to see. So when it comes to the VETTO and FANA banner itself, what are we working with? Oh, let me just do this. There we go. Cool. So we're gonna start things off with VETTO. So of course he is a red defender SSR type character with his first skill. Single target applies a debuff of disarm level 1 for 2 turns. Reduces damage dealt by 23% towards the enemy, of course. His second skill, it's AoE. Again, attacking the enemy. If HP is equal to 60% or lower, attacks after granting self 50% lifesteal. For each fallen ally, attacks after granting a 20% increased damage dealt buff. So, I mean, you don't exactly want to see that, because I mean, you are the defender, so technically speaking, you're supposed to be tanking and not letting your allies die, but regardless, if they do fall, VETTO does kind of feed off from that. And then the ultimate, attacks after granting 70% lifesteal, grants 35% lifesteal when attacked, or when attacking an enemy inflicted with a debuff, so that's just an additional if they do have the disarm debuff from the first skill. I will say when it comes to the ultimate, he pretty much lifesteals like all of his HP back, like completely full. So that ultimate is pretty nice, I will admit. Combination skill with FANA, just pulls taunt. Oh sorry, no, combination skill without FANA, pulls taunt. Combination skill with FANA gets an increased damage buff in proportion to current HP, maximum 50%. Again, it's single target, of course, so just pretty much full on damage right there. So that's kind of the combination. Now when it comes to the LR passive, grants a 15% fortify buff for 1 turn upon using lifesteal, but there's the catch, only applies to lifesteal gain through own skills. So the lifestealing gear set won't have any effect with this passive, unfortunately. It has to be through his skill set. And then his dupe, when it comes to the +2, grants 7% reduced damage taken when attacked by boss. So yeah, they did kind of, oh yeah, no, it is a bit of a nerf, because they could have just left it as 7% reduced damage taken, but they threw in the boss, so of course the duping is more in favor in PvE. Alright, and so that is pretty much the base of VETTO. And then of course when it comes to his skill page, in general with the skill page, when HP is getting recovered, gain a barrier equal to 100 to 140% of own attack. That's not bad. I mean, there are going to be future characters down the line that will help out in the whole barrier meta type of deal, so it's not terrible, but at the same time it's not really needed. Yeah, it's pretty poor. If you do for whatever reason give it to VETTO, then what will happen on his skill 2, he then gets an additional where he can get a 60% chance to inflict extend debuff by 1 turn on an enemy. So for example, if you've got Lotus and he's debuffed the whole enemy, then of course VETTO would come along and extend that by 1 turn. Pretty helpful for debuff characters, I will say, with the support of VETTO skill page on his for his second skill, sorry. So that is VETTO in a nutshell. Skill page isn't exactly needed, and unfortunately with the character himself, just really doesn't hold any value as a red defender. I'm just going to be completely honest. Yeah, the life stealing is nice. In a PvE perspective, it's not terrible. I mean, there has been one situation where I was doing a boss fight, and honestly, VETTO, he does do a decent amount of damage on his ultimate, not so much on his second skill as first skill. However, reducing the damage and life stealing, as well as, of course, I do have a skill page, so extended debuff, that did help me out. But outside of that, PvP wise, VETTO is a no-show. Blue units will absolutely dismantle him. Yami completely just annihilates him from him healing, so ripperoni on that one. Honestly, with, you know, putting dupes into him, I mean, it's not really exactly necessary, unfortunately. You know, that 7% reduced damage. He's healing back all his health, so you know, I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong for a defender, but to go that far and get dupes for this, it's not worth, in my opinion. And then again, with the life stealing, unfortunately, the gear set has no effect of this. So yeah, realistically, you're heavily just relying on the skill set to get that 45 going. Alrighty, now we've got FANA. So when it comes to FANA's skill page, it applies 10 to 20% increased on all attack to yourself. So honestly, the skill page itself is actually very, very good for attacking units, like from when it drops to going forward, right? Universally, it's just going to be an amazing skill page to now add in addition to all the other, you know, when it comes to build for attacking characters, this FANA skill page will more than likely always get thrown into the mix as a usable skill page. So just in general, for attacking skill page universally, this is actually amazing. And then of course, if you do apply it to FANA, then what will happen on her second skill, as it is AoE, it'll apply burn. Alright, you're applying the debuff burn. There's a 50% chance. So that is pretty much the buff that FANA gets on her skill. And then of course, when it comes to FANA herself, her first skill is single target, has an 80% chance to apply burn. Her second skill is AoE. If an enemy is taking continuous burn damage, attacks after granting a 50% lifesteal. So if you do have her Greymore, keep in mind she is a blue attacker. One thing which I do want to mention, this FANA, if I can remember correctly, she is kind of like the highest AoE damage for a blue attacking character. For global, she's pretty much going to be the top the minute she drops. So there is value more with FANA than there is VETTO, I will say that. Plus, you've got to keep in mind the whole blue meta, right? She fits in there perfectly. Such an amazing high damage dealing AoE blue unit. So with the skill page and that skill 2, it is just perfection. Perfection, because again, you are applying burn on an AoE manner. But yeah, I will say, I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't work off from the fact that if you burn the enemy through the second skill, if you have the skill page and then the life stealing kicks off, obviously the burn has to be there beforehand when using the AoE attack. Yeah, that's pretty much the second skill. And then the ultimate, once again, it's AoE. She grants a attack all increase level 2 buff to herself for 2 turns. So that's an increase of attack and magic attack by 40%. And I will say, like I said, this FANA hits hard. And for global, to when she drops, she is going to be an amazing AoE damage dealer. Alright, and then of course when it comes to the combination attacks, obviously without VETTO it is single target, and of course if the enemy has a debuff, attacks after granting a 30% on increased damage. And then of course if she is with VETTO, single target, and of course she'll just casually applying burn, which of course she'll instantly feed off from. So that's something nice. I mean, well, you could technically run her with VETTO, get the burn, and then of course that can lead into the skill 2. Everything when it comes to burn will always lead in with the skill 2, so you can maximize the life stealing that she has on that. And then of course if you manage to get her to LR Awakening, of course she grants a 15% increased damage dealt when HP is equal to 100% or higher. So pretty much the minute she's got 100 HP, just kind of make the most of it, because of course once that drops, you're losing out that 15%. So that's kind of like the catch. It's a quick catch, because you know you're going to make good use of it, because the minute she takes just a little bit of damage, you've lost that 15%. So yeah, gotta make use of that 15% that you get at the very beginning. And then if you dupe her out, the favored damage dealt plus 7%. So of course she's a blue typing, so those red typings, they are in trouble. It's honestly a banner that, as of right now, you really don't need to concern yourself with when it comes to these characters in particular. It's not in the sense of, like, I don't know, Noel or Julius, where it's just like, it's a must. It's a must, we got to max him out, we got to get dupes on them, etc. FANA is a solid unit, but it's a character which you'll come by at a later stage, I guess. That's the best way I can put it. Now, if you do want to summon, I've just stated the obvious. Go for FANA. Hope and pray that you get FANA. There's more for FANA than there is for VETTO, with what is being offered between the characters and the value they hold with you spending your premium currency. Overall, I will say skip the banner, but if you choose to summon, FANA is going to be the character that you want to go for over VETTO. I think I'll leave it there. So kind of wanted to go over their kits and give my honest opinions about them, as well as their usage with the PvE side of things and PvP, of course. So again, with VETTO, PvP is a no-go. PvE, he'll do okay, but again, he'll lose his value pretty quickly, unfortunately. So realistically, currency-wise, with your premium crystal, I wouldn't really advise it. But at the very beginning, for global, I mean, yeah, you'll have your fun with him, but he'll, in a quickly manner, I would say he'll kind of drop off if global is going as quick as I think they are. Fun, on the other hand, I mean, she'll hold value for the longer than out of the two, of course. Good for PvP. For now, she'll also drop value in that, but she still holds up with the blue meta. An amazing high damage AoE blue attacking unit, so of course PvE wise she does hold longevity there, so more value to be gained from this character than VETTO. So when it comes to skill page, of course, I would say FANA is going to be the skill page that you really want to go for, because it's just, well, in general, the better skill page, right, with universally what it's providing. VETTO skill page isn't too terrible, but it does have a stipulation where it works off from HP recovery. So obviously for VETTO, that's picture perfect, because of course he does have life stealing, so that is actually an additional nuisance of actually him getting his HP back, additional barrier. So that's why I say in the PvE side of things, early on global, he's actually going to be somewhat of an okay unit to mess around with and actually have good use for when it comes to bosses and etc. Over time, I mean, it's just going to drop off. And then, of course, because it is class restricted to defenders, I guess the only time we're really going to be having barriers coming through is through getting heals through healers. So, yeah, there is a bit of a stipulation to gaining that barrier. So, it's not terrible, but unfortunately, I would say I would still class FANAs over VETTOs. So, there's that. Anywho, that was the FANA and the VETTO banner, so I just kind of wanted to go over them and give my thoughts on the banner itself, and if you should summon, and if you do choose to summon, then who to go for, which is going to be FANA. But overall, the banner itself, you really don't need to concern yourself with, especially if you're free to play. So yeah, for me, it's going to be a skip.